Is there healing without faith? That was one of the questions that was asked this weekend that we didn't have a chance to answer in the service, but wanted to respond to here on the blog. Matthew 8 begins to give us the answer to this question, I believe, in a way that better than I could. Let me read through these 3 different instances of healing, and let us notice the different circumstances involved. First is Matthew 8, verse 2. And behold, a leper came to him and bowed down to him and said, Lord, if you are willing, you can make me clean. And Jesus stretched out his hand and touched him, saying, I am willing, be cleansed. Verse 5 begins the second episode that I want us to hear today. And when Jesus, had entered Capernaum, a centurion came to him, entreating him, and saying, Lord, my servant is lying paralyzed at home, suffering great. And Jesus said, I will come and heal him. But the centurion answered and said, Lord, I am not worthy for you to come under my roof, but just say the word, and my servant will be healed. Fast forward to verse 13, and Jesus' response, Go your way, let it be done as you have believed. And the servant was healed that very hour. The last episode in Matthew 8 begins in verse 28. And when he had come, Jesus had come to the other side, 2 men who were demon-possessed met him as they were coming out of the tombs. They were so exceedingly violent that no one could pass by. Verse 32 says, And Jesus said to them, Be gone. So here we have 3 different accounts of healings. First, the leper comes directly to Jesus at faith and says, If you're willing, you can cleanse me. And Jesus responds. The second, the centurion brings to Jesus, not physically, but at least brings to his attention that he has a friend, a servant that is suffering great pain. And because of the centurion's faith, Jesus is made aware and heals. The third are these 2 guys that are coming out of tombs, completely out of their head. And it's not their faith, for there's no way they could have faith, but it would be Jesus' faith at that point that reaches out and says, this is a divine appointment. And as a sovereign God who has care and compassion for all of his creation, he reaches out and makes a huge difference in their lives by freeing them. Is there healing without faith? The real answer is no. There has to be faith involved, for the healing comes from God. But it's not necessarily the person who needs healings must have faith. For we saw 2 instances. One where it's a friend that brings someone else. Another is just God being sovereign and deciding this is going to happen. I think what we can take away from this is that it is so important that those of us with faith continue to bring our friends and our family before God and ask and plead and continually beg for healing, whether it be emotional healing, whether it be healing that's a physical nature or even spiritual. We have a role to play in the lives of those around us, and God has called us to exercise our faith at every opportunity.